What's going on, guys? It's Brandon again, and today we are taking a look at the 9130 Mosin-Nagant in Red Orchestra 2, as requested by XXMC84XX. Now, I had to read a lot into the Mosin-Nagant, however, the most of the history I could find was about the M18 9130, and as far as I could tell, they were practically the same gun with subtle changes. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into this. Now, if you watched my Springfield video, you're going to notice that the Mosin and the Springfield relatively start off the same. By the late 1800s, the Russian Empire, like every other nation, were looking to modernize their military. The Burden service rifle was the standard for the Russian military, but was easily outclassed by the Ottomans' Winchester repeating rifle. The main disadvantage was taking a single-shot rifle to a repeater fight. Now, moving on to 1882, designs took place to upgrade the Burden rifles, but there was no success whatsoever with the upgrades. What followed in 1889 were several rifles under consideration, all that took the qualities and were in some way influenced by the German Mauser. Is it starting to sound familiar in any way? But some credible designs came from Captain Sergei Ivanovich Mosin, and another from the Belgian brothers Emil and Leon Nagant. And Emil was credited with design of the Nagant M1895 revolver. Now, continuing into 1891, it was decided to combine the best features of all the guns since no clear winner could be established. The final result was a repeat-fire long rifle capable of replacing the Burden's rifle. Due to the design work by the Nagant brothers combined with the modifications done by Mosin, the rifle became known as the Mosin-Nagant, or M1891 for short. It featured a smooth single-piece wood stock with an inlaid attached metal component. The receiver housed the metal action consisting of a turnbolt handle with a knobbed end. It featured an integral magazine in which 5 cartridge chargers would be loaded into it. And again, cartridge chargers are basically prefabricated strips of bullets loaded into the gun, much like the Springfield. As for the sights on the gun, it had a rear graduated assembly at the middle of the gun's length and a forward hooded post. 2-barrel bands were presented for reinforcement along the wooden stock. It also featured a socket-style bayonet. Now, the round it fired was a 7.62 by 54R Russian rifle cartridge, giving a good range penetration. Now, moving on to some of the variants, the M1891 had a full 51.25 running length. This is when a short-barreled version was brought to the table, dubbed the Dragoon Rifle M1891, appearing with a 28.8-inch barrel and a shortened forend for a grand total of 48.75 running length, which can be considerably shorter and making the user more agile in combat. Another variant is the Kozak Rifle M1891, very similar to the Dragoon, but they scrapped the bayonet from its design. Now, the first true carbine system was the Carbine M1910, which featured the same action as the M1891, however, the overall length was shortened to 40 inches. Now, moving on, during World War I, the Mosin-Nagant became the standard issue rifle for the Russian army and saw action all along the Eastern Front. Now, I started thinking to myself, World War I seemed like such a stalemate at times for both sides of the argument, and I started thinking to myself, everything was based off the German Mauser, it seems like, from the Springfield to the Mosin now, and of course there's probably going to be other weapons that I haven't researched yet that are going to contribute to this factor. But it seemed like in World War II, everything was a lot more fast-paced. Of course, everything was more upgraded, different weaponry and stuff like that. But in World War I, the weaponry seemed oddly the same at times, and I think this was because everyone was just ripping off the Germans. Then once the Germans got a foothold in World War II, everything just started taking off, But I don't know, that's just my opinion about that. So let's go ahead and move on here. So moving into the 1930s, another variant rose up, the short rifle M189130. Now, this was to combine the Dragoon's length to the standard M1891 long guns already in service, realizing length could be sacrificed for a less cumbersome service rifle as in the original Mauser. It also received a new, more rounded receiver. The leaf pattern sights were removed for a tangent leaf fitting instead. Front sights were also replaced by a modern tapered hood, and the bolt was now facing down. The M1891-30 in the 1930s also received a sniper variant mounted with a 3.5 PU telescopic sight. Also, manual loading was needed considering the scope blocked the cartridge chargers. other variants were also produced, the M1938 and the M1944, which were very similar to the M1910 variant. Funny thing about this rifle is that it saw service and hit every major conflict of the 20th century, even being encountered in both Afghanistan and Iraq. And that's pretty incredible that a gun has lasted that long in this many conflicts. But anyway, guys, that pretty much sums up the Mosin-Nagant. Like I said, there's other variants on into World War II. However, they were very similar to the other ones, and I don't really need to go into much detail about them. Now, I really did like the Mosin-Nagant. I love it in-game. It's a really great gun, but I'm not all that much of a bolt-action person. I had some trouble getting some gameplay here and there, but once my ducks fell in line, or if that saying came out right, but once everything fell in line, then I ended up getting some good gameplay of it, and I really like it, much like the Springfield. But I think that's it, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name's Brandon, and as always, have a nice day.